Hello everyone and welcome to BuffSports Live. My name is Alexis Semino. Let's get the show started. Colorado shattered records at the 93rd Texas Relays on Saturday. The Buffs finished second in the collegiate division with a time of 3 minutes and 7.24 seconds. The quartet included Tyler William, Aaron McCoy, Kendall Smith, and Ronald Sales. This time marks the fastest CU relay in over 2 decades. The women's team also stole a spot in the top 10 in CU history for relays, finishing third in the collegiate division. As the track commences, the volleyball season will come to a close when Colorado plays USC in doubleheader. The Buffs fell last night 1-3 against Southern California and have one more chance to score a dub on Saturday afternoon. The men's basketball team finished a long, successful season on March 22nd with a record of 23-9 when they lost to Florida State 71-53 in the round of 32. The team was playing with heavy hearts as they found out right before tip-off that there had been a tragic shooting in Boulder at King Soopers, where 10 people had been shot and killed. Senior point guard McKinley Wright IV postgame said, "Life is so much bigger than basketball. Basketball, it's just a game. People lost their lives today." The women's basketball team finished their season 12-11, losing to Ole Miss in the third round of the WNIT. In the first 2 rounds of the tournament, they had beat Louisiana, Lafayette 68-45 and Nebraska 75-71. That leads us into this week's trivia question. With 3 3-pointers in the Buffs' final game against Ole Miss, freshman Frida Foreman brought her season total to 62 baskets from long range. That is the most in season by a CU woman since when? Well, don't go anywhere. We'll have the answer at the end of the show. Whether our sports teams are D1 or non-revenue, we make sure to give you the latest on all of our fellow Buffs. More on CU's club teams after the break.
Deserves a second look. Michael taking off, the patented tongue comes out. Just in front of that line. Look at this, the double clutch, the reach out.
Pass on left wing, looks behind him, wide open, right wing, up top, open for 3, fires.
Really good basketball, Mark. Unselfish, smart basketball.
Open for 3, fires, nothing but nylon from downtown. Good ball move by Colorado.
Men's basketball may have made national headlines this year, but some club sports didn't even get a chance to play a game. Christina Robin will tell us more about how COVID affected non-revenue sports.
Varsity sports are in full swing on the Boulder campus, but some club sports are no longer playing.
Not being able to complete our season and compete was just devastating for everyone.
The Men's Collegiate Lacrosse Association granted Colorado seniors another year of eligibility.
Of the 11 graduating seniors last year, 9 of them came back hoping to play another season.
2020 ended on an abrupt note for the Buffs men's lacrosse team when their season was canceled the night before flying out to California for a match.
We had one last semester to play together. I put everything on hold. I kind of put my life on hold, my work life on hold, so we can come back and all play together.
A hopeful return turned bleak when the campus also shut down their 2021 season.
The University of Colorado's club sports department has had practices canceled, entire seasons, and some of their practice spaces have even been turned into classrooms.
The CU Recreation Center's head athletic trainer notices the toll this year is taking on student athletes.
Even though it's a sport club, I feel like it's still such a big deal, especially if you've been with this team for 4 years.
The team is still participating in a local men's league, but with COVID, it's hard to gauge how long things will take to go back to normal. Christina Robin, BuffSports Live.
Spring has sprung and the heat is here, and not just the weather. Get ready for some other hot takes on Buff Banner after the break.
They were nervous and inexperienced, as new faces looking to achieve greatness. As the years went on, they grew confident in their abilities.
Maybe. Yes, sir!
Now they look to guide others in the same pursuit.
There it is!
Can you believe it?
All are welcome to be featured on the biggest stage.
Is it his time?
We invite you to discover what you're capable of at BuffSports Live.
Next, we have Troy Finnegan, who's going to tell us how women's basketball is changing the landscape of college sports.
The days of NCAA women's basketball as a non-revenue sport, as a cost burden to the NCAA, are over, no matter what the NCAA wants you to believe. Whether it's the lack of a weight room and low-quality food in the women's NCAA tournament bubble, or just pure disregard for the women's tournament in general, it is clear that the NCAA does not value women's basketball as a major sport. However, this year's tournament is reversing that trend. With all 63 tournament games this year airing on ESPN's family of networks and a whole fresh crop of marketable stars, exposure of the women's tournament is higher than ever. The highly anticipated clash of true freshmen between UConn's Paige Beckers and Iowa's Caitlin Clark drew almost 1.6 million viewers in the Sweet 16, and UConn's next game, a heavyweight clash against Baylor, was one of the most entertaining sporting events of the year. Now, the NCAA says that women's basketball doesn't generate revenue, but economist Daniel Rasher, who studied the NCAA's revenue numbers, disagrees. Rasher says that Division I women's basketball generated almost $1 billion in 2018-2019 and said, quote, "I don't see how they lose money on it." The championship game in 2019, an airtight nip-and-tuck battle between Baylor and Notre Dame, peaked at 5.6 million viewers, comparable to an MLB playoff game or LeBron James' first game as a Laker. In fact, out of all of the players, men and women, in this year's Elite Eight, 8 of the top 10 most popular social media presences are women, led by Beckers and Haley Van Lith of Louisville, occupying the top 2 spots. The Final Four of the women's tournament is tonight, and I urge you to watch. After all, women's basketball might just be the next big thing in college sports. Alexa, back to you.
We're back to give you all the answers to this week's trivia question. We asked you how long it's been since a CU women's basketball player matched Frida Foreman's total of 62 three-pointers in one season. And the answer is 9 years. Lexi Krezel made 63 threes in her freshman season in 2011 and 2012. Only a freshman, the sharpshooter Foreman, will be looking to exceed Krezel's total next season. Now it's time for our tweet of the week. Out of all basketball players who played in the Elite Eight last week, 8 of the 10 most popular athletes on social media were women. Jalen Suggs of Gonzaga and Adrian Nunez of Michigan were the only 2 men to crack the top 10, while 6 women in the top 10 will be competing in the Final Four tonight. Well, that's another week coming to a close, another show completed, but don't miss us too much because we'll be back next week with the latest and the greatest. This is Alexis Semino signing off.